Welcome back to episode 2 of the Dan and Ninko show. Ninko here, super excited to talk to you a little bit about last week's football games. Look forward to next week. What's going to happen? I'm the champion with the record right now. Came down to the last game. The Ravens, Chiefs. Ravens lose that game. Chiefs looking pretty good. Patriots face them next. We'll see what happens. I think the Patriots might have a tough game with that one. But let's dive into the local game last week. Patriots, Raiders. What did you think of that game? Do you feel good about the Patriots right now?
Yeah, I think it's a good win. 250 rushing yards. Sonny Michel, nine carries, 117 yards. Burke had 6 carries, almost 50 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 7 catches, 50 yards receiving, a touchdown. Cam didn't look the greatest. Looked like he forced the ball a lot, trying to force it to Edelman a little bit. But, overall, if you rush for 250 yards in the NFL, you're going to win most of those games, right? And that's probably one of the best ways to beat Patrick Mahomes.
You got to stop the run. And if you can't stop the run, guess what? You're in trouble. So I was literally standing in front of my television screaming. I was screaming at the television because if I was the defensive coordinator for the Raiders and my defensive ends were being cracked as much as they were crack-tossed, I'm talking like when you're in your stance and the receiver comes here and he hits you in your ear hole and the ball gets outside of you, that is 100% on the defensive end. Yeah. And it happened like 8, 10, 12 times, and it was driving me nuts because as a defensive end player, if I got hit one time by a crack player, you learn. Look, the next time I feel something here, I'm sticking my foot in the ground and I'm turning at the receiver because he's a receiver. Yep. I don't care how big you are. DK Metcalf couldn't block me. He couldn't do it. I don't care if you're 230, 220 as a receiver. You don't want to hit people. You're not used to blocking people. So you stick your foot in the ground. You turn to the guy. You take your forehead. You hit him in his forehead, and you drive him straight back. And you stop that play. I watched that play over and over and over. Like Carl Nassab or whatever the D end is.
Yeah.
He got cracked by Harry 4 times, knocked him down, took out the rest of his defenders with him. I'm just losing my mind about this. Kudos to the Patriots because they figured it out.
To them.
They figured it out, but they were just flipping that play, left side, right side. Let's just keep flipping it and see if they can stop it. And Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, if you don't stop something, they're just going to repeat the play, flip sides. Yeah. Similar to, and I'll go back to the Kansas City game a couple years back when they were at Kansas City and they won in overtime. They would run the same play with Julian, motion in, run the over. They flip the play, motion them in, run the over, hit them every time, wide open. So it's just crazy to me that in the NFL of today, where everybody's so smart that you can't figure out the same play over and over again that they're killing you with. So the Raiders, terrible run defense, the worst stuff I've seen in a long time. Kudos to the Pats. Kudos to Josh McDaniels to come up with a game plan after. And we've seen week 1, run the football.
Yep. Week 2, throw the ball down the field.
Throw, and then week 3, if they can't stop us, let's just keep running the ball.
It looked like they still wanted to throw the ball, though. I mean, the receivers weren't really getting a lot of separation. Cam was forcing the ball into Edelman. I mean, there was, you have the one pick that was just a terrible, terrible decision. But then there's a couple throws down the field where, you get Harry opening underneath, and he's kind of forcing the ball down the field to Edelman. It seems like he's trying to almost get the ball to Edelman with at all costs, basically.
So I don't mind Julian having a big game and then kind of a minimal role game, small.
But you can't let him lay out in front of people, though. I mean, he's leaving him out in front of people. He makes some of those catches.
You can't hang him out to dry because Julian, he's not going to not go catch the ball.
He's going to get killed.
He's like a golden retriever. Ball, catch, and then he's going to get creamed. Squirrel. So when I think of this last game against the Raiders, number one, you got to give it up to the offensive line. I think they did a great job.
They were rookie, Michael.
So I'm having a brain fart right now, but I'm thinking Joe Tooney moving to center. You lose David Andrews, right?
Which a big deal.
That's a big loss. Yeah. But Tooney, so I'll tell you a funny story about Tooney. Tooney's first drafted to the Patriots. I'm playing still. I see this kid turn the corner because, when you come into the facility, there's a long hallway, and at the end of the hallway, there's the cafeteria, and then you take a right, and you go down another long hallway, and then you come to the locker room. So I'm kind of by the cafeteria. I see this kid walking down the hallway. I'm like, the first thing I see is this massive head. Like, the dude's got a balloon head, and it's like literally maybe a size 8 fitted cap. And he's a big dude with a big neck and a massive. And the first thing I thought was, this dude is going to roll people over in the running game. Because when you got a dome like that and the weight behind you, you're just killing people. So I think, he's been a terrific pickup for this team since he was drafted. He hasn't missed a ball game, which is crazy about his durability. You think about that.
And what's crazy, they haven't signed him yet. I mean, he's still playing on that franchise tag.
Look, they can't afford him now. They can't afford Tooney.
You got $100 million in cap.
They're not unless they want to pay him, because they didn't want to pay him top dollar, so they franchised him.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to pay him before, he's worth more now. So if he can get through this season healthy, he's played guard. He's been very good and consistent. Moves to center, so that is, I'll do whatever it takes for the team. That's what you want in a football player. You don't want a guy that's like, oh, well, I'm a guard. I'm on my contract year. I don't want to move into it. Like, one bad snap or one snap hand rush by a guy that's attacking your snap hand, and you give up a couple big sacks, then that goes against you. Like, okay, well, Tooney gave up a few sacks, but the guy goes in there at center, seamless transition, which I don't understand why last year he wasn't playing center if he went out there and did so well. So that's one of my ups, and we're going to do a 3 up, 3 down. One of my number 1 up is Joe Tooney. That's my first up because the dude is a baller. I
think it's the whole offensive line,
and
though, too.
He can't find a hat at lids.
You got David Andrews, the big injury. Who Cannon
no more
opted out.
hitchhiking for David. Bad thumb.
Cannon. Cannon opted out. I mean, they've kind of makeshifted this line. You got no Scar there.
That's the biggest thing is no Scar. I mean,
but they're still playing well without Scar. I mean, what was it? There was the one year when Scar retired and the offensive line was just a disaster. You were playing that. I think it was like 15.
Was the coach.
Like 15 or something like that.
A lot of hands when he yelled.
Yeah, and it was terrible. So the whole line's unbelievable.
So you get Scar back from retirement. He was sick of swimming laps at the YMCA at 4 a.m. Comes back out of retirement. I'm telling you, that dude is the most fit guy I've ever seen in my life. He would swim like miles.
He's like 80.
Just swimming. Just swimming. Great shape. But anyway, let's move. What's your up? What's your first up from
the
that
running game?
The running game.
I know you're saying a lot of bad defensive line play and all that, but the line played well. Jacob Johnson, whatever you want to pronounce it. He's been good. I mean, he's not on like the Devlin level or anything like that, but he's playing solid. They missed that last year. I think that I mean, he had E-Rob in it at fullback last year. So you're kind of re-solidifying that, but definitely the run game. I mean, if you're going to rush for 250 yards, how many teams? I mean, I don't have the stat in front of me, but you can't have many losses when you're rushing for 250 yards in a game.
Yeah, that's true. And my number 2, I said Tooney was my number 1. My number 2 is Rex Burkhead coming in hot with my fantasy 3 touchdowns. I mean, the most touches on the field offensively. So, look, you got to love Rex. The dude takes a pay cut in the offseason, comes in here, great attitude, great team player. We all miss Sweet Feet out there. So for him to come back, come in for a big role in this game and score 3 touchdowns, he's my number 2.
Yeah, I got the strappers. I got the guys strapping the tight ends, Joe Juan and Duger.
They did a great job.
You keep the tight end from there from even catching the ball. I mean, really getting no targets. That's going to be a big thing going forward. I mean, you obviously have Kelsey this week. You're going to have the guy from the Ravens. I mean, you've got all these good tight ends. If you can throw these guys on these tight ends, you can free up some stuff to be able to double somewhere else if these guys can handle it. So I think they played well. I think Joe Juan only had 1 penalty. Duger, I don't think had any. So I think that's probably my number 2 up.
Sweet.
What do you got for number 3 up?
My number 3 is Winovich. The Vich Power.
Last week you didn't claim him because he's a different Vich, and then this week he's my Vich.
No, he's a Vich now. I mean, I'm sure in grade school, just like myself, he got the Wino bitch thing going on, and I got the Ninko bitch thing going on. It's okay. We have the same issues as children. But guess what? I think that he's playing really well. A few things I want to see improved on is some running game stuff. In the passing game, I feel like our defense looks very good as far as coverage. The rush looks good. I like what I see in the rush. As far as, when you have cover guys that you have in the back end there, do we want to see more pressure on the quarterback? Of course. They're going against Kansas City.
Yep.
They have the best secondary to match up with KC, I think, because you got the best corner in the league. You got the McCourty brothers.
Which corner is the best corner in the league?
What are you talking about? For us?
Yeah.
We know who the best corner is on our team. You don't
I
think
don't know.
so? You don't think so? You think he's what? He's fat and happy right now? We're talking Gilmore.
He got burned by Nelson Aguilar. I'm going to say
His
that again.
eyes
Nelson
were in the wrong
Aguilar.
place. So listen, when you're playing down,
Philly got rid of Nelson Aguilar.
when you're playing,
You could start a receiver for Philly.
Unfortunately think, okay, again, he was going against Metcalf. Metcalf's a freak.
Yeah, Metcalf.
6'3", 230,
Metcalf,
big time.
yeah.
He was on him in coverage. When you kind of step down in competition, I feel like he might have been looking. His eyes weren't in the right spot. So on the one where he got burned and he was pulling the guy, I think his eyes were in the backfield when you're in the corner.
Hasn't he committed like 4 pass interferences already this year?
He's making smart penalties. And when I say smart penalties, when you are beat and you know you're beat, you grab the guy. So I feel like, yes, he's had a couple instances where he's been beat, but I think that's because he's getting his discipline with his eyes has been getting him in trouble. When I say eyes, when you're a corner, if you start to peek at the quarterback just to see what's going on, okay, what's going on with the quarterback? Is he coming my way? Is he looking backside? That's when the guy you're on gets away from you and separates.
Yep.
So, just like the Ravens game, we watched KC Ravens on Monday night. There was a big play there. I think it was before the half, touchdown toss by Mahomes, wide open receiver. Nobody was there. It's because it was a double move. And with a double move, I'll explain the double move. You know what it is? It's an out, and then you stick your foot in the ground, you come up. So guess what you do when you're a corner? You're backpedaling. You see the out. You look at the quarterback for a split second to see if he's coming, and the second you do that, he goes up, you're gone.
He's gone.
So I think that Gilmore is going to be fine when they get into better competition. When I'm talking KC, this is going to be a game where he's going to dial it up because he knows he's going against the best. He's going to have to play his best because versus Kansas City, they're going to have to play their best football if they expect to win. If they expect to win. So, for me, for my number 3 up, I'm going Winovich. I think he's doing a good job right now. He needs to be better in the running game. That's my first down for the Patriots in this game versus the Raiders. If you're the Raiders, you run the football on first down for 12 yards. Then you go drop back twice for pass. Like, run the football. When you're running the ball with success, why go away from it? That's my one down with the Patriots defense right now. They need to be better in the running game.
Yeah. My third up would be the turnovers. They're causing turnovers, the defense, right? 3 fumble recoveries, 2 sacks, 7 passes deflected. They probably should have had 2 more picks. I mean, there was 2 dropped interceptions there. For my down, I'm going to kind of go back into the Gilmore thing. I don't think that it's maybe a long-term thing, but if you look at his last 5 games, he didn't play well against Devontae Parker in last season, the last game of the season. Devontae Parker lit him up, and that shouldn't have happened. We've kind of come back in. He hasn't had a great season so far. JC, on the other hand, though, I mean, he's shutting down whoever he's on. I guess the issue you're going to go into against Kansas City is who's Gilmore covering?
They have a lot of talent.
If Nelson Aguilar is destroying him, what's Sammy Watkins going to do?
He's on my fantasy. I don't know.
I know.
We'll see.
So is he, start him or sit him then?
Oh, he's starting.
Okay,
No.
So it's definitely that part of the coverage. I think it can be fixed. You don't know if it's game planned. I don't know if you watch some of the game that Belichick's kind of crazy. He was double covering the checkdowns. Did you notice that?
Well, because he wants you to push the ball down the
field. I know.
So
how much is it? How much is it though? I guess that's my thing with Gilmore. How much is it that you're putting all the pressure on Gilmore because you're basically taking 2 guys to cover checkdowns?
Hey, when you get paid the most,
you got
to have all the pressure, and you got to have
a $5 million pay bump.
You got to have the big time guys. So, when you have a guy like Gilmore, you consistently can say, all right, we put him on one of their best players, and we don't have to worry about it. So. Yep. KC is going to be a great test for the defense. I can't wait to watch this football game. We'll see what they can do. My number 2 down is the kicking game. The kicker. Like
that was my number 2, number 3, number 4.
Are you kidding me? Listen, you got Gostkowski out there right now kicking 6 for 6. I know the first week
50 yarders at the end of the game.
50 plus yarders. Right now, the Patriots for a game-winning field goal past 45 yards. I'm not confident that that's going in. I'm thinking
35 yards.
From 45 yards out, you don't have the confidence to say, yes, we know our kicker can go out there and win this football game or tie it up, put us in a position to win. So when you're missing PATs that put you up 3 possessions and then it's only a 2-possession game, that's trouble. So they need to figure that out, and that's my number 2 down.
Yeah, my number 2 down is Cam's decision-making a little bit. Hopefully it's just that one game. He's looked good in all the other games.
Yeah, the pick was tough.
The pick was bad. I mean, I think
he felt like he had to just get rid of the ball. I think he thought there was somebody coming behind him. threw the ball into coverage.
But normally, if he's feeling somebody from behind him, he's always stepped up and taken off. Then he just made that weird throw across his body and all that. Hopefully, I don't think it's a down for a long time. But obviously, you're forcing the ball downfield. I'm concerned with Edelman because of the fact it's kind of what you alluded to last week. I mean, he's taking some shots. He's not looking the same, and keep laying him out there. I think that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's going to be rough.
So we got for number 3. What's the number 3 down?
For Julian, hopefully he can push. My number 3 down. So our defense, the Patriots defense, hasn't come out in base yet. So when I say base, they haven't had a base defense early down run stopping defense yet because they're an all nickel and dime. So they have an extra DB on the field. When you have an extra DB on the field, it puts extra pressure on the inside linebacker. So my down, unfortunately for me, because I love Bentley, is Bentley in coverage. I feel like he would definitely be a attack point for a team like Kansas City where they might go empty and you got to rely on your inside linebacker to cover one-on-one with a dude that
Edwards-Helaire
that you can't cover.
Right?
You can't cover that dude. You're going to have to put a guy on him that's faster. So I'm just going to go inside linebacker play right now because when you look at the defense, good secondary. The front is a work in progress, but that inside, you lose Hightower, you lose Jamie, you lose some vital pieces there. So Bentley's got to play better against the coverage, the run. I feel like he needs to step up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean I guess the big thing with that is that's been the undershadowed thing is the middle linebackers, right? Because I mean you basically have Bentley and Copeland are the two.
Yeah.
And Bentley's a run stopper, which they haven't really stopped the run, so that's kind of concerning. But yeah, I don't see him covering backs out of the field. I mean you're going to have to roll somebody over there. My number 3 down is wide receiver play.
That's the question mark that everyone had going into the season. And then, another thing, too, is after the Seattle game, well, we don't need any receivers. Look, you can only get away with so much. Seattle obviously isn't any boom like they used to be.
No, not the secondary.
They don't have the pass rush like they used to. I mean, think about
if they did, they would be unstoppable.
They would
the way
be
Russell Wilson's playing now. He's got some receivers.
If they had the defense they had in 14, 13,
they would be a runaway. We wouldn't be talking about the season then.
No, exactly. And they'd be the NFC favorite to win the Super Bowl. So let's move on. We talked about the Patriots. Let's move on to the biggest thing that's happening right now in the NFL, I think, and that's the 8 cases of COVID with the Tennessee Titans who just played the Vikings. I just text Gostkowski, and I was just hitting him up like, yo, who is licking the spoons?
I know. Who's out without a mask?
Who is licking the spoons at the hotel and giving everybody COVID?
Yeah.
So what do you think moving forward could possibly happen if they don't practice all week?
Well, I think they had built in the schedule. If you look, I mean, the NFL will claim that they had this set up this way, but they didn't. They get some buys coming up, so I think they'll just move the bye week to this week and kind of play on out. The team that gets kind of screwed with that is the Steelers. I mean, even the Titans too. I mean, you take a week 4 bye.
Yeah.
I mean, then you're going to have you have a ton of games left, and you're talking 2
playoff
playoff teams. I mean, how are you going to be able to deal with that? I mean, but the bye's way too early.
Yeah, no, it's early because then after that, you usually want your bye right in the middle or later in the season.
I don't think they're canceling the game, though.
No,
it doesn't look like it.
And what Vrabel said was, look, if we don't have any practice all week, it is what it is. This is 2020. It's a crazy year.
Yeah.
And we're just going to have to do a walkthrough, and we'll go play. And for me personally, if I didn't practice all week and I just played a game, I think I'd be fine. I think I'd be perfectly fine because I didn't get beat up during the week. I'm recovering.
Well, what about rookies and second-year players?
The young
and stuff
guys
like
might
that?
have trouble.
Yeah.
The young guys that need the time would possibly have trouble. But a veteran, you look at the Patriots. If they didn't practice all week, you think the McCourties or you think any of the older guys would have a problem? I don't think so. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward. The one crazy thing is that the Vikings – they're shutting down their facility till Saturday as well.
They have 0 confirmed
and they have
tests.
no confirmed cases. So, I was talking to Steve about it, and I said, look, you hit the game winner. Like, the guy, you could have had a dude licking your face and spitting all over you that's got COVID. Like, when do you know and how long does it take to find out? And he's like, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. So, I guess they're going to have to, be swabbing everybody for, 3 times a day for the next 3 days to see if this thing has continued on in that locker room. But this is the biggest fear everyone was thinking about, right? Like, what happens if the team comes down with this and it spreads like wildfire?
Yeah, but I mean, I think at this point though, where you have 3 players, 5 staffers, I mean, I think if it was that bad, it would be spreading. I mean, you'd have more people that tested positive. The only thing that I see with it, though, is what happens if you're the guy that was found out, right? Like some social media post comes out, right, and you're the guy that went to like the strip club or something like that at the team. Like, what happens then in that locker room? I mean, do you put like a bunch of bars of soap in a pillowcase and just beat the crap out of them?
Give them the old, was that Full Metal Jacket treatment?
Yeah. Because I don't know if you saw the Raiders have a thing out now that there was players at a charity event that weren't wearing masks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what's the NFL going to do with that? I mean, they're finding coaches hundreds of thousands of dollars by not having a mask on.
I mean, I think that if they're going to fine a coach for not having his mask on, which, by the way, you saw Gruden. He had like the sliver over his nose.
He had a thong on his face.
Bill puts like the mask, folds it under so it's on his nose, but his mouth is out.
Yeah.
I mean, come on,
But why would the coach need a mask on? If all the players are bleeding and sweating on each other, why is the coach sitting on the sideline with a mask on?
I don't get it. First of all, I mean, look, you could dive into this all day about the whole mask thing. I see people with the Gators things on.
Yeah.
They're constantly touching it and grabbing it and moving it, and like, what are they doing with their hand? Are they washing their hand every time?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. You see, Kansas City. Their head coach has got the big like welding shield on.
The fishbowl thing
that's fogging up. He was fogged up.
He needs some Rain-X on that thing.
He was cleared up this last game. Yeah. But it's just so weird, like the options there. And I even asked my wife, Paige, we're watching the Monday night game, like, what does that do? Like, it's just a shield. Like, doesn't your breath come out like underneath the shield and move out away?
But he does have that big like awning though that kind of comes down.
Yeah, I mean,
like it's not like
Andy Reid. I don't know whoever gave him the mask. It actually clips onto the top of his hat.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, do they customize that to put a button on his hat and say, "Hey, look"?
People in Kansas City are selling those things. The Andy Reid mask. If you probably go to Kansas City and go to a local barbecue joint, everybody's wearing a clear shield.
Andy Reid mask.
Yeah, and a Hawaiian shirt. Like everybody's in them.
I think Louis Vuitton just came out with a mask. It's like $1,000 or something.
Yeah, like Antonio Brown or OBJ would be in that, right? I mean,
100%.
OBJ's wearing the $300,000 watch playing in a game. He probably has like a Gucci mask or something like that.
Something stupid. If a guy was wearing a watch in a game, I'd try to hit it, but I don't know.
It's a $300,000 watch.
That doesn't make sense to me. It sounded like an ad for the watch company to push it out there. But
yeah.
I mean, for the future, I don't know. We'll see what happens. How this develops. All I know is this was kind of like what everyone was fearing when it came to this whole COVID thing, and everything seemed to be perfectly fine. Nobody was having any cases. The NFL came up with only one player has tested positive through the first 2 weeks of the season, and then this pops up. So I guess we'll watch it closely and see what happens. But it's not a great thing.
Yeah, but it
to
happened
look
in baseball already, though. Baseball
they
had
had to stop.
games
I think it was
canceled.
the Marlins had to stop.
Like the whole team had it. And then the Yankees didn't get it. They shut down and tested. I just don't understand.
You ever see Drew Brees? What he does before every time he touches the football, he licks his fingers.
Yeah.
If you did a lick count of his fingers, it's probably in the thousands per game. So literally, he's licking his fingers the whole game. He's touching the ball. He's throwing it to his receiver. His receiver's spitting in his gloves to catch the ball. Like, I don't know.
But that's what
I don't know how you stop it.
That's what I mean. Like, the protocol, though, is like the guys can go out and play. They can practice. They can go out in a game and play, bleed, spit, sweat all over each other. But then the minute they go inside, they got to put masks on and everything. Like I don't get that point of it. Like,
it doesn't make sense.
I mean, if nobody else is in the facility, you got everything locked down. More than the COVID thing, though, is the one other thing I want to touch on is home field advantage. There pretty much is no home field advantage anymore, right?
Now, I think there's actually a thing to this about bringing the juice. And when I say the juice, the energy.
Yeah.
A lot of guys need the crowd to get them going.
Yeah.
And they need that juice to, feel the environment that they're in to go. And I feel like this could potentially happen to some teams or some players that need that to get them going, and they're flat. They're flat as can be. So I think we've seen it. Like, we've seen teams that are flat. I think the Raiders were flat. I mean, you think that they were motivated to go out there and play football? They looked terrible.
Yeah.
They didn't look like a team that was undefeated.
But even on the road, though, like you're seeing games, Packers are in New Orleans, and Rodgers is throwing the hard count, getting people jump off sides in the Superdome.
I was talking to B.
It's crazy.
I talked to B. Flo about this right before the season started, and he was just saying this is going to be such a strange year. Like, you have to tell your third down pass rush crew, alert the hard count because they could potentially draw you off sides. Yeah. But then I've seen a lot of offensive linemen getting hard counted by their own quarterbacks because they're thinking like, oh, I need to pass that. I need to get out here and stop this guy. And they're going, and then you see the flag. So in 3rd and 10, it's 3rd and 15. So it works both ways based on, how can we make sure that our team is disciplined to deal with this crazy environment of, they have fake like crowd noise. Like, what is that doing? That does, and then they flip it on and flip it off. Like, I think it's silly. So,
I thought Belichick would just be playing like some like 80s metal music or something like that as loud as can possibly be. Like like Panama, just like nonstop, just trying to screw with people. But I mean, it just that home field advantage doesn't exist, and you got some teams that need that.
So the only thing that's gonna be that's gonna change is like weather. So Bill today woke up like 40, 60 mile an hour gust. Yes. All right. It's going to rain today. It's going to be windy, so get your shit on.
Practice has been extended 5 hours.
Practice experience equals game reality. That's what's beat over your head. So the Patriots are outside in the rain and the wind, and Bill's loving it right now because he's hoping that they're going to go to Kansas City and it's going to be a rained out mess, so he can just say, hey, Wednesday we're in it. Let's go out here and play like we were practicing it.
Yeah, Bill woke up and he was like from Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore. Arts and craft time is extended by 5 hours today.
My fingers hurt. Oh yeah, well your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled lawn duty.
Yeah, Julian, I don't care.
Hey Grandma.
Yeah, Julian,
this is my world now.
Julian, I don't care. Your knee hurts. We're getting out here.
That's what the doctors are for. Have an injection.
Yeah, no, Tyrod Taylor had that too. Huh?
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's another subject.
Yeah, that's another subject. But I think it's probably a good time here for a break, and we'll kind of dive into some more stuff, including about how you barely ousted me on the picks last week.
Oh yeah,
barely.
We got the picks. Game. I want to jump into the car that we just picked up. I say we. Yeah. You just picked up because I can't afford it.
No. We'll talk about the Senna probably next.
I offered you a good price.
No, you didn't. You offered me like $200,000 less than it's worth.
I mean, that's working deals. I'm a deal worker, All right, we'll dive into that too because I just sat in it and it's like blew my mind. Okay.
All right, cool. We'll be back.
All right, we're back. So look, I came here. We're doing the show right now. You have a new vehicle that you just acquired, which is very insane. I've never been in a car like this. Never sat in a car quite like this car. Gave me chills when I sat inside of it because I just felt like I was doing 200 miles an hour.
Yep.
Explain what you just picked up and just had delivered here.
Yeah, we just acquired a 2019 McLAREN Senna, number 164 out of 500 built in the world. It's basically an F1 car.
I did some research on this car. They said at 100 miles an hour, it has like 1,700 pounds of downforce.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're stuck to the road.
Yeah. So the car sticks. I mean, the tires stick. There's
500 cars they produced. You can't get these cars. Like this car, when it came out, was already every single one of them was sold through McLAREN. So you couldn't actually go. You can't go buy this car brand new.
No.
So how does a car like this just come about? Like, how do you get your hands on it?
Cars come up. I mean, we look at auctions all over the country. Probably about 100 to 200 auctions every day, looking at different things. In a market with the automobiles, you have to be different. You have to stand out. You have to be completely different than the rest of them. So here in New England, not a lot of exotic type of dealers and things like that. Obviously, roads and snow and all that stuff.
This thing won't be driving.
You won't be able to drive in a couple months. But you get cars that stand out. So like the Lamborghini Urus, the 19 McLAREN, 500 built in the world. How many are left? There's only 500 in the world. I think there was 160, 170 that came to the U.S. So it's basically, put that in perspective, there's 3 in each state. Assuming that things aren't totaled out, that they've been sold and went overseas or whatever. So we found this car, 789 horsepower. The car is just a machine. It's an F1 car.
So I started the car. I sat in. First of all, it has the Batwing doors that come up.
Yep.
The whole thing's carbon fiber. It's a really cool. It's a green color. I love the color. I think it makes it look badass. The doors are clear, which is even crazier. So you can actually look and see the road while you're driving it.
Yeah, and you do your yoga position to get in.
When I look at this car, I took my shoes off. Number one, take your shoes off, because when a car is this nice and expensive, you don't get in it with your shoes on. That's Ninko rule number 1. So I took my shoes off. Take the raincoat off. Make sure I get as sleek as possible, because this thing, it's like you're in a baseball glove. You actually have to slide in it through the top. You have to go through the top of the door to slide into it. But once you're in it now, I got in this thing. The dashboard mechanically like folds up and folds back. You have this cool tablet to your right. The whole thing is carbon fiber. I mean, I feel when I sit in it, I feel like I need an umbrella policy because
just to be in it,
just to sit in it. Because if anything happened to it, I don't want to drive it. I'm not going to drive it. I want to sit in the passenger seat. I want you to drive me around because if anything happened to it, I'd have to go back and play another season to repay the amount of money that this thing might cost.
And you may not be close, just depending on what it is.
Be close. So, this car was one of the best and is the best, coolest thing that I've ever seen in person. I asked Dan, I said, yo, can I start this thing up? Because, some people will be like, I don't know, don't start it. But I started it up, and, literally when it started up, it was a little bit terrifying. So I couldn't imagine how fast it feels because literally you're on the ground. It's a tight cockpit. It looks like a fighter jet as far as, how it is built and put together. The motor is sitting, basically right on your back shoulder, and the thing is just bananas.
Yeah. So it's almost like driving an F1 car.
It's like driving an F1.
It's like driving like a go-kart.
Race an F1 car.
So, 100%.
Right now, I'm dealing with a little thing right now about getting a dog.
Yeah.
So you can go and you can get yourself a McLAREN, no problem. Yeah, keep it. It's fine. I love it. The wife loves it.
My wife loves
Myself,
I got to keep it, I think.
Yeah, I think you do. Because I think that in particular with the limited production, I think it'll continue to just go up in value. In a few years, that car is going to just be through the roof.
My only concern with it is it's got 300 miles on it. You want to keep those miles down. But I'm going to want to drive it.
You can't drive it. It's got to have no
you
miles.
got to go.
You got to keep it under 500. So just go down.
It's got 350.
I know. You got to keep it under you can't go to New Hampshire and back.
If you look at our website, I put it online with 1,500 miles just in case.
Just
in case.
Just in case it needs to have a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to break it in, right?
Yeah,
It's not broken in yet. Yeah. But don't put enough miles on it to where you need to get an oil change. Because what do you? Didn't you say something nuts about getting an oil? Don't you have to take the body?
Yeah, it's like
hold on.
I think it's like 8,000.
The body comes off to get.
How you
gonna
get underneath it? It's all encased in carbon.
So here's
fiber.
my question: you make a car like that, why can't you just put a little plug in, an extension? Or I need to change oil. There it is. Change the oil.
Because McLaren dealers didn't make money.
Yeah. Well, they make a lot of money in the car, then they make a lot of money in the service.
Yeah.
So let's get back to what I was talking about with a dog.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a golden retriever. Right? Matches. Look, I got a bear shirt on. I'm a big lover of animals. I love bears. Turn it this way. It's the forest here. My wife makes fun of me because of the fact that I enjoy animal teas. I got some wolves. I got a bear. I got a lion. Sometimes it just depends on my mood. So I'm thinking about getting a golden retriever.
You're going to get a golden retriever shirt too if you get one?
100%. If I get a golden retriever, I'm getting a golden retriever shirt. So male, female, I don't know. The problem is I may have made the decision to get the dog without consulting.
Ooh.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah,
that's not good. Because we had an English Mastiff. Best dog I've ever had. Ruby was the best. She was 200 pounds. She would literally pull me around the room. She was that strong. It was nuts. We lost her a year and a half ago. So now it's time. The kids want one. I'm thinking of a golden retriever. What do you think about a golden retriever? You think Ninko and a golden retriever go together?
I don't see how it does. I mean, you got a bear on your shirt. I mean, a golden retriever's. What are they going to lick you to death?
No, it's just a loving dog. You got 3. Don't you have a couple dogs, right?
A couple dogs, yeah. I got 3 dogs.
Isn't one of the dogs the one that could rip my face off?
2 of them are.
2 dogs.
2 of them are. 2 are protection dogs. One's a German Shepherd, and one's a Belgian Malinois, and then we have probably the complete opposite of the 2. We have an English Bulldog.
So, can your kids do a WWE top rope slam, and the dog would just be like, yo, thanks.
Yeah, the dogs, they don't.
No problems.
No problem at all. But if I give it a command, then it may rip your face
Ninko,
off. That's what we're working on.
Ninko,
we're working on for the next adventure.
One of these. So we're going to do some adventures in the show. We talked about it in the first episode. Yep. We're going to do some really fun stuff. I will put a suit on. I'll put the suit on.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't go here. This is the moneymaker. You bite my cheek
Anywhere
off,
else?
You take the beard off. Look, if the dog grabs your beard, I don't know what we're going to do with these commercials.
I can get an insurance policy. There actually is beard insurance out there.
Is there beard insurance?
Yeah.
Oh, that's because was it
ZZ Top?
No, who's a basketball player?
Oh, yeah, Harden.
Harden, right?
You can get beard insurance. It's from Lloyd's of London too. It's from the largest insurer in the world actually has it.
But you have to have some value in the beard, right? If you have no value,
I think you can pay whatever you want to insure.
So do you have insurance on your beard?
No.
You have gray in the beard.
Oh yeah, definitely gray.
It's
yeah.
wisdom.
Yeah,
It's wisdom.
I actually thought about maybe dyeing at one point. My wife got mad at me. She's like, "No, it has to stay that way. Just let it keep going."
It's multicolored. So you got the red.
I got 5 colors.
Blonde.
I got red, orange, blonde, white, black. I mean, I got everything in there. It's kind of crazy. But
so when I was playing, I let it go a little bit. Now that I'm have to do some television stuff, I have to look a certain way.
Why?
I feel like just groom it up. I need a haircut right now. It's getting gray.
You got some grays in there, dude.
Dude, I have some grays.
Because just to tell you, it always starts on one side. So you're this side or this side. You got it right there.
Was that left brain, right brain? So
yeah.
It's on my left side. It's the right brain.
But then before you know it, it's just swoops right along.
All gray.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what would be best for the family as far as I think it's fate. Last week we went to Nantucket with the family. I took them out there. We were at the brewery, Cisco Brewery. Shout out Cisco Brewery, great spot. I think I got one of their hats on. There it is, Cisco Brewery. We're gonna have to get some beers, sent here. We'll have to try them on the show. That's one.
I'm
of
good
the
with
other
that. That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. We can go to Nantucket, take a boat ride, go to Cisco Brewery, do the show from Cisco Brewery. I think we can get that done.
Yeah.
Maybe a few other breweries we'll have to go check out. But
always just do a brewery tour.
We're at the brewery. We're sitting down with the family. I see this golden retriever puppy. I'm like, man, that's a cute.
Because you're on Nantucket. I think
that's a cute.
Isn't
need a golden retriever in Nantucket?
Yeah, you have to have a 4Runner or a Jeep Wrangler and a golden retriever if you live there.
So
I think you sign a contract.
I say, babe, I gotta ask the people where they get it from, where they get the dog. So I go up. I say, hey, where'd you get your dog? They're like, oh, a place up in Maine. I said, oh, I think where? They said Goldiva Goldens. And that's the same.
You can't possibly go to a place that's
Goldiva
Goldens. You
What's
played
wrong with
football
Goldiva?
in the NFL.
I'm retired now. I'm softer. I'm a father of 3. I have a daughter. Look, I
wear bear t-shirts.
I might dance around the house and work on my my curtsy. So all I'm saying is I'm lighter. I am not as strong and manly as I used to be. The beard is cut down. Maybe I'm finding my
Mastiff to a golden retriever.
I want another Mastiff, but my wife won't do it. 200 pounds. I absolutely loved my English Mastiff. She was my first kid, honestly. So
yeah.
Would I do it again? She didn't last very long. It was 7 years, which sucked. I wish she would have made it to 10. But that's just, when I went to the vet, they're like, look, 7 to 10. That's 7 is expected. 10 is great. Anything above 10 is you're basically in bonus time. So that was a terrible experience. So I told myself, look, I need to go with a smaller dog. I need something that'll last. But look, you can't. That's the one guarantee in life. We don't know. You don't know when we're going. So I don't know. We'll figure it out, I guess. Maybe it's not the right time. The wife said it's not the right time. Happy wife, happy life. But
you said you already made the decision. Did you tell the kids and everything? Hey, we're gonna get a dog.
I showed them the video. I said, look at these, look at the puppies, and they're like, oh my god, I want a puppy. My little girl's like, a puppy.
Yeah. Did you go? But your mom won't let us have one.
Yeah, I put her right in there.
Yeah, that's not you're in some trouble there. That's gonna be a difficult one for you.
It's bad. So, Paige, I love you. I guess we'll wait and we'll see, what's the best option. Because look, I might say, yeah, I'll do a lot around the house to help with the puppy, and then I'm at the dealership Wednesday shooting a beautiful podcast here. So
we could always get trained and everything.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's true. We're gonna jump into these picks. What are we thinking? What are we thinking about these picks? Are we gonna go into these?
I think we're going to it, but I think we'll take a little bit of break before we go into the picks.
Let's take a break. But before the break, is there any award? Do we get any awards for
barely eking it out?
Barely. Hey, a win's a win. You think Bill says barely? We barely won. He goes.
I guarantee he does. He gets mad when they win.
A win's a win.
So you ever went to a meeting after a win, right? You have your Monday morning meetings or whatever after a win, and you're telling me that he was like, great job. No, we did wonderful this.
No,
yeah.
I could improve. I'm gonna improve this week. I'll probably.
You gonna improve?
I'm gonna improve. I'm gonna be better.
Yeah, you're gonna take.
Let's take another break and then we'll get back. We'll get into the picks.
All right, let's go.
All
right. So we're back here at the Dan Ninko Show. We're gonna be discussing our Week 4 picks. Ninko got lucky last week and beat me by 1 game, but
everyone's a win.
Yeah, I think I would have. Actually, no, I think we had the tie. I think we picked both teams, so I think we're good with that. But anyway, we're going to go first to a barn burner of a Thursday night game: the Broncos versus the Jets.
Wow, the Jets, the Jets, Jets suck.
Terrible.
They're so bad. So listen.
How is Gase still the coach?
He's going to be gone with those crazy eyes that he has. Look. I think Dan Orlovsky said my 0-16 team, which you never want to bring up a terrible season like 0-16 team, would beat these Jets. So the Jets are terrible. The head coach, they need to just get Greg Williams, the DC, into the interim head coaching job position.
He did a good job with the Browns.
He did a good job. I think that he needs to be a head coach because he can motivate guys. I played with him. He was my D coordinator in 2009 when I was a long snapper. How silly is that? Stupid stuff. That's what the NFL is about sometimes. But anyway, when you look at the Jets, they're terrible. I think that their quarterback, I actually like their quarterback. I think that Darnold could actually be a quarterback if he had some coaching. He shows little glimpses, little flashes of good, great stuff. What can he do to get a different coach in there? They need to get a new guy in there. I don't think drafting another quarterback is the answer. Get a new coach in there. Let's see what they can do. But the Jets are terrible. Broncos are going to win this game.
I think Darnold could have been an okay quarterback. I just think now, the years of the beatings and everything are just, I don't,
beat down mentally.
Yeah, and then the Broncos got Mark Rippon starting, Mark Rippon's nephew starting.
I don't care who's starting.
His cousin looked pretty good in the lingerie league.
You could put anybody out there. I think the Jets are going to lose.
Yeah, I don't think the Jets. The Jets are tanking for Trevor. I know you're saying they're not going to draft a quarterback, but
why would you tank for Trevor Lawrence?
What's their other choice?
I don't know.
I don't think they're maybe they're not attempting a tank, but they're just that bad.
They just don't have they're bad. The Patriots are going to win both of those games.
Yeah.
By the way.
What?
Jets are going to lose every game this year.
Jets will lose every single game. Yes. Broncos for me too. All right, next one: Colts versus the Bears.
The Bears.
Yep.
This, because I'm a Chicago guy, and I grew up with the super fans that are Chicago Bears. They would always say, "The Bears." You had Chris Farley having about a baker's dozen heart attacks there. Bob Swirsky was my good friend, my buddy from the south suburbs of Joliet, Illinois. I'm going with the Bears. The Bears with Nick Foles, they're going to the Super Bowl. Why? Because I said so.
What?
The Bears with Nick Foles are going to the Super Bowl. That's what the super fans would say.
Okay, I won last week with that type of take. That's what the fans.
That's what the super fans say. Come on.
I thought you were saying they're going. I was like, holy crap.
The super fans of Chicago are saying we're going all the way. Defense and the Mac attack, and we got Nick Foles here heading the offense up. So Bears are going to win this game. I think they're a better football team without inaccurate Mitch as their quarterback, because Mitch couldn't hit Lake Michigan from Soldiers Field, which is literally 50 yards away.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The Bears wide receiver coach. Obviously, we haven't had a lot of those last 2 or 3 years, back-to-back wins. And so that's going to happen now. Wow.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Mitchell Trubisky, see you later.
I feel for guys that, how terrible is that? Like, you're the starting quarterback, week 3, they're like,
you're starting quarterback, but you were like a top 10 pick.
And then all these
2
other
years
quarterbacks that were taken after you are highly paid and the best quarterbacks in the league.
It's tough.
What do you think the Chicago superfans think about Pat Mahomes?
I think they're happy with Foles. Foles is almost kind of like Fitzpatrick. He's going to have some amazing games, and he's going to have games that are just awful. He's either going to throw for 5 touchdowns and 1 pick, or 1 touchdown, 4 picks.
You're going Chicago? You're going Colts?
It's tough.
Rivers?
I went back and forth. I went back.
Quarterback?
That's the one thing I'm worried about is Rivers. Rivers is not very good, but I do like the Colts. But Allen Robinson's a monster. Nick Foles can just go throw the ball. Not anymore.
Aren't getting Robinson.
Not anymore.
No.
I do have one. I know you threw one out there for the Patriots to get, but we'll go over that after. I have one that I think that might be a big one to go get. So but I'm going to go with the Bears. There's no way.
So
all right.
We're right now.
We're even.
No difference.
We're even money.
What's the next one?
Jaguars Bengals. I think we're going to be even here too.
I'm going with Jaguars. Look, the Bengals are in a rebuilding stage. I know the Jaguars are too, basically. They got a young quarterback. Both teams have young quarterback. I just think the Jaguars can play better than what we saw recently from them. And look, they played on Thursday night. I didn't think they looked great, so maybe they can bounce back from that. Bengals, playing against a terrible Philly team, they tie.
It's because Philly played for a tie.
So they're what? They're 0-2-1.
Yeah,
great. That's a great record.
Yeah, at least they're not 0-16. I'm going to be on the Minshew bandwagon this week. I wasn't last week, which I was correct with, but this week I'm on there. Even though mustache for people that can't commit to growing a beard or just can't grow a beard. Burrow is going to get killed this year. I mean, that one hit he took, you could see him get CTE.
Like a freaking crash test on
which I don't know how they allowed him back in the game. I mean, he had to have been knocked out.
That's bad.
But Jags all the way. I think Minshew actually has a big game this week. He hasn't been the greatest, but I think he's gonna have a big game. This one's gonna be another one that we're gonna be agreeing on. Browns Cowboys. Nah. You actually said the football team was going to beat the Browns last week.
I know.
That was one of your losses.
I
think your exact words were, I think...
you know what?
The Washington football team's quarterback was actually pretty decent. He threw like 5 picks.
That was bad. So I kind of want to go with the Browns on this one, but I can't go with the Browns on this particular matchup. I just can't do it because I feel like the way that the Cowboys... Look... Dak threw for 450 yards.
Dak leads the league in yards.
So he threw for 450 against the Falcons with their comeback.
Yeah.
They had a dogfight in Seattle, and they were close. They were right there.
Yeah.
So I just think that the Cowboys are going to be able to beat this team.
Yeah. I think the Cowboys are a better team than what they're showing. I mean,
100%. And
their coaching's awful, but their team is good. Yeah.
They're going to improve. I like their head coach though. I think the Cowboys. You don't like the Cowboys picking up losing their court. You think they're better coached right now with Mike than they were with who was the coach last year? Jason Garrett.
I mean, I guess. I mean, but you can also be the world's tallest midget, right? I mean, the problem is though, you're never gonna get a coach that goes in there that's any good because of Jerry Jones. You're never gonna get anybody. So I guess it's the best.
Cowboys,
Cowboys.
So we're the same across the board.
Yeah,
right now.
Cowboys kill them. Saints Lions is the next one.
I'm going Saints.
Yeah,
I'm going Saints.
Michael Thomas returns. Drew Brees hasn't looked good the last few games without Michael Thomas, but if Michael Thomas returns, he's going to start looking good, and then they're going to be putting Matty P on that clock for who's going to win the first head coach fired.
At ESPN, they asked me what was the one upset that could happen. I didn't take them in our picks, but I said that I could see the Lions beating the Cardinals because of that. Their backs are against the wall.
Yeah.
But in this particular matchup, I feel like the Saints are still trying to figure themselves out. Drew hasn't looked himself out there with accuracy, so I think they'll get back on track, especially if Michael Thomas is back.
That's the thing, is once Michael Thomas is back,
And the Lions defense, they don't have a guy that can cover Kamara. They don't have a guy that can cover Michael Thomas.
They won with how bad those throws were, though. I mean, Kyler Murray had 3 interceptions, but they were all bad interceptions. It wasn't like good defense.
So
or anything.
You're going Saints or you going Lions?
Saints.
Okay, so
Saints.
we're the same right now.
I know.
Right.
Now we got the game that may or may not happen, which I think is going to happen, Steelers-Titans.
I'm going Steelers.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers win this football game. Roethlisberger has injected some confidence back into this team. I've said it before multiple times that the teams that have had the stability and a head coach and a quarterback are going to be the better off team. So you look at this matchup, yes, I know Vrabel was there. I know they had the quarterback in Tannehill, he was there. But when you look at what the Steelers have as far as a defense, stopping the run, I think they're going to be able to stop the running game, and then the Steelers are going to be able to win this football game.
Yeah, the Titans, I don't think they really look that good. I mean, they got bailed out by Gostkowski hitting a 55-yard field goal at the end.
Patriots wish they had that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wish that somebody hit a 35-yard field goal.
They're still paying. I think they still pay. I think they're still paying him like half his salary.
It's probably on the cap. It's probably
whatever.
In
yeah,
there.
whatever it is. Like, I just don't get why not keep Steve? I don't know. I don't get it. Why not keep him?
I don't know why when you went to it and you realized the kid you drafted wasn't that great. Like, why you didn't just go? I mean, Steve, like please.
We're
sorry.
House, he moves to Tennessee and boom, he's playing for the Titans.
Yeah,
how nice is that?
We're sorry. This game, Ben looks good. Juju looks really good. I got Juju on my fantasy team, so on all of them.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's playing well. I'm going to go Steelers.
Big Ben is my starting quarterback.
The Ben's look good. Ben's look really
Tom.
good.
Is that bad? I benched Tom, but it's okay. He's on my bench. If I need him, he's there. If I feel like
I thought you were like
he
one of the
scored more points than Ben this week, but I started Ben.
Do you have a TB12 Tampa jersey down there?
Of course I do.
Oh, of course you do.
I got 2 of them. They send them to me.
Yeah. Do you have the picture of like him like with the Buccaneers hat on and with the dagger in his mouth?
I do like the Buccaneer with Tom's face.
Yeah, so I mean,
that one.
Oh, you got that. All right, next one. We're on agreement. I think we're gonna agree on this one. Seahawks Dolphins.
I'm going Dolphins. No, I'm kidding.
Nope. We got that one. That's on camera.
No.
That little thing came across the screen. Ninko picks Dolphins.
Yeah, nobody is beating Seattle right now. They're playing out of their mind.
Yeah.
Offensively, you can't stop him. You can't stop Russell Wilson. So he's my MVP pick. I'm going Seattle.
Yeah, until somebody figures it out. I mean, maybe the Dolphins, maybe they have a decent defense against Russell Wilson, but the offense ain't going to carry it. The Seahawks all the way. This one we may differ on. Chargers, Bucks.
I'm going Bucks.
I know where you're going.
I'm going
I know
Bucks,
where you're going.
baby. I'm going Bucks. Look, I think that after the confidence of winning last week, I know it was the Broncos, but they're kind of, look.
He still didn't look that good.
They're 2-1. They're getting the mojo together. Okay, it's the gears, right? It starts slow, and it's like a gyro. You know, a gyro, it starts slow, and then it gets faster and faster.
So you think they're going to be like here? Colin Cowherd, I was just watching him. He had Tier 1 and Tier 2 Super Bowl teams, right? And the Tier 2 was Green Bay, Seattle, and New England, and the Tier 1 was KC, Baltimore, and Tampa.
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah.
I just think that Tampa is going to figure it out. I trust that Tom will have the confidence and the ability to fight through this adversity early in the season, and he's going to be fine.
What adversity?
Not having an off season, not being with Bruce Arians, which
they practice beyond belief out there. They broke all the COVID rules. He got kicked out of a park in Tampa.
I feel like Bruce is brutally honest, where he's like, "Yeah, that was just Tom sucks, and he threw a pick, and that's all on Tom." It's like he's like, "Whoa, Gronk isn't fast anymore, so he's a blocker." It's like, "Whoa, I don't know." So I like Tampa in this game. You're going Chargers? You're going to go, this is going to one-up me here. This is going to make me the winner.
I'm trying to look at the rest of these games to see if there's anywhere else, because I can't pick the same exact picks as you. We have to have something.
Go Chargers. You like it?
I'm 50-50 on it because the Chargers have a good pass rush. They looked really good against.
If you hit Tom.
But they look really good against Mahomes, and that's why I'm saying, if they can get to Brady, I mean, everybody knows that's how you beat Brady. Is you hit him, and it's not like he can move out of the pocket or anything. I'm gonna go Chargers. I think Hebert's gonna have a decent game.
Okay. Do it.
All right, this one's, I don't know why we're going to talk about it. Ravens versus the football team.
Who? The football team?
The football team.
The football team.
Yeah.
The football team. The no-name football team. I'm going Ravens.
Yeah.
Look, they didn't play well against KC. They'll be fine.
I mean,
they're going to win this football game. It's the division game. They'll be fine.
I'm going to put as much thought into this as the Washington football team put up with coming up with their name.
Yeah, Red Tails.
Ravens.
Something. Let's just make them the W's.
Yeah. Let's just make them. They should make them the Snyders. The Washington Snyders. All right, Cardinals, Panthers. Your dark horse MVP is in this one.
I'm going. I like the Panthers in this game. I honestly, I think that Bridgewater is playing well. I like him as a football player. I think the Panthers are playing better than what many expected them to be at.
Yep.
And even, I know they lose their big time running back. For a few weeks with McCaffrey with a high ankle sprain, but I think that the Panthers are going to take this one.
It's a tough one because you're without McCaffrey. I think the Panthers are better than what they kind of have showed. Because Teddy's not turning the ball over. He's making the right reads. I think too much when you lose McCaffrey. And the Cardinals are boom or bust. Because Kyler's either going to have a great game or not a great game. I'm going to go with a great game. I'm going to take the Cardinals.
Are they going to Carolina?
Yeah, to Carolina.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter with no
Carolina.
fans.
It's a long trip to be dehydrated in that plane.
To be dehydrated in the plane? Yeah,
but
he's young.
Drink a lot of water.
He's young.
All right.
Just have some Pedialyte.
Next one. What do we got?
We got Vikings, Texans. And the Vikings can't go in their facility till Saturday.
Vikings lose. Vikings are terrible anyway, so...
they looked okay last week.
Yeah, but I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in the Vikings. I just don't think that their style of play can win against the Texans.
Yeah, no.
So I'm going Texans.
I agree with it. I'm going to go Texans. All right, you got Giants, Rams.
Rams got gypped. They should have beat Buffalo. Terrible defensive. I think it was interference or illegal contact play.
It's all pass interference.
Yeah, pass interference.
Put it on the one.
Versus Buffalo. Buffalo should have lost that football game. So I think the Rams win this game.
Yeah, I mean, Giants stink, especially without Saquon.
Giants are not going to win many football games.
I actually think the Giants need a tank and try to draft Lawrence too, because I don't really
even
believe
with Danny Dimes. You think Danny Dimes isn't the guy?
Good. He hasn't been good.
I would have a hard time paying somebody the amount of money that these guys are making and just being like, yeah, okay.
But eventually, you just got to cut bait with it, don't you?
I guess. But you don't have. He doesn't have a chance with the OC and the head coach. When you change an OC and a head coach so much, like, it's just impossible. So
but they're going to end up changing
Giants
the coach again.
Joe Judge, come on now. It's gonna.
Joe Judge let me down last week. I thought they were going to play well and win that game. I'm going to go Rams. All right, Bills Raiders. I'm going to on the pass interference call. Segue in perfectly.
Is the Raiders? The Bills are going to Vegas, right?
Yeah, going to Vegas.
I mean, you can't go against what the Bills' offense is doing right now. I think the Raiders, with how terrible their defense looks, they're not going to be able to stop anything. So, just based off of the power and the offense of Buffalo, you got to go with Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite. I don't think Buffalo was that good. I mean, he had a great first half. Josh Allen.
I think Josh Allen has like the most TDs in like the league. I think.
Yeah, but that second half, I think but besides that last drive, he had like 30 yards passing.
Yeah.
Or in like negative yards.
I just can't get behind I can't. You're going Oakland on this one? I mean, not even Vegas. You going Vegas?
You can't say Oakland.
Vegas, baby.
I'm going to go with Vegas on this one. I think the Raiders are actually a pretty good team. I think the Patriots just exposed their weaknesses. But I don't know if the Bills can kind of game plan in that same area. I think Waller bounces back. They figure out how to motion him out. Don't let him get double covered, and Waller has a big game and then gets that safety blanket off.
I never would ever say this, but let's go Buffalo. Let's go, baby. Come on.
No, you're gonna be. So if the Bills win, you're gonna get doused and like ketchup and mustard.
I'll jump through this table like I said before. Yeah, you can spray me with ketchup.
Yeah, I was looking the other day. There was a video that somebody had at a christening, and they had the baby and they put him through the table.
Yeah, I saw that. It looks borderline child abuse.
Yeah, very much so. All right, Eagles 49ers.
Eagles are bad. So 49ers.
Yeah, and they're traveling across the country. I think Mullins looks pretty good too. I think Jimmy G's probably ready to come back, but I don't think they even bother bringing him back for this game.
Give him an extra week.
All right, and then we got Falcons Packers.
Packers are good.
Yeah,
Packers are really good.
He is awful.
Yes.
He's gonna be the first head coach fired in the NFL,
and he should.
Yeah,
he should.
Did you see Julio Jones? His thing is, I'm just out with a hamstring. He don't want to play.
No, he doesn't.
And that's where my trade target goes into the Patriots.
Ooh.
Julio Jones.
Whoa, that would be ridiculous.
The season's almost over.
That would be, if they got Julio Jones, I would 100% be on board. Yeah, I'd be like, okay.
I think he's only got a couple years left on his deal,
and they got plenty of
Calvin Ridley
space.
Is good. Yep. They're going to kind of let him be the number one. He's proved it over the last few weeks. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out there. I mean, no 100%. Head coach, nothing.
I mean, imagine that owner with the Falcons. He literally was on the field, so excited to win a Super Bowl, and now he's not even close anymore. It's over. It's done. He's probably not even going to be
in the Super Bowl, and he's got his dreams crushed now in the regular season.
Yeah, because he understands, like, I don't have many bites left of the apple, if you know what I mean, and I might not be here to see a Super Bowl run.
I don't even know. How is Quinn still the coach?
I don't know. I mean, he must have some dirt or something going on.
Because, that's awful. All right, and then we're going to go to the game that matters the most around here, and I know what Ninko's picking here. Patriots at the Chiefs.
You know where I'm going with this. Come on. Look, Pat Mahomes, right?
Yep.
Kelsey, Hill,
yep.
Watkins.
Yep.
Too much to cover. And then they got the running backs.
Yeah.
So I'm going with KC in the
offense.
Edwards-Helaire. I'm going with KC. Look, they're just way too powerful right now. And you watch that game that they just played against the Ravens, they're just functioning so well offensively. Can the Patriots defense stop that offense at this particular moment? I don't think so.
Yeah. I can't pick against the Patriots. I think they do have an advantage because they're not going to KC, with a lot of fans. I think they have like 8,000 fans or something like that, so it's not really going to make too much of a difference. The best way to stop Mahomes and the best way to stop that offense, keep him off the field. And I think the Patriots proved in Week 1 with the Dolphins they can do that. They can run that type of offense. I don't think KC's defense is as good as what it seems. I think they just know the Ravens so well. They scheme well against them and all that. So I think they're going to keep them off the field. Maybe Gunnar returns.
So here's my question to you: they just faced the fastest quarterback in the league. What is Cam Newton going to look like versus?
I don't think you need to be the fastest though, because Cam Newton can throw the ball better.
They've seen the same scheme, so like
it's
the
not
defense,
the same scheme, though.
It's similar. The RPO stuff. with the blocker and he's riding the running back.
I don't think they're going to run too much RPO though. I think Cam Newton's going to stay in the pocket here.
You think so?
He'll obviously escape.
They got some good. They got Chris Jones.
Yeah. But what if Gunner comes back?
Clark,
Edelman.
Gunner. I mean, he had a good camp.
Very good camp.
Did he play last year?
No, he was hurt.
I know.
But he looks like he might play though. But then
if was a fifth, what would we be?
Yeah,
drunk.
Yeah. But then Mahomes can get full of himself a little bit because some of those throws he made, if he doesn't put them perfectly on,
and he does.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember that commercial? It was back when we were probably kids. It was the Bird Jordan commercial it was McDonald's, and it was like,
kids.
Okay, I'm going to bounce the ball off the Statue of Liberty.
I remember that one.
That's what Mahomes is. He's like, I'm going to look this way, I'm going to throw this way, and I'm going to bounce it off this player's helmet to the air. Man. He is good, and
he can scramble for first downs.
But the Patriots defense can take advantage of that stuff. He's going to throw picks.
And they're playing an offensive line with like decent tackles and like you.
Who?
The KC.
No.
You don't think so? I think. Look, they played the Raiders last week with 2 backup tackles. Like they didn't have Trent Brown. They didn't have their starting tackles. They're playing against guys that are like subpar starters.
But the thing
is,
like
KC our offensive line actually did well. They lost their guard because he was a doctor and he's working with COVID.
I don't think he's even a doctor.
No, he is a doctor.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a
I thought he was just like going to go help.
In Canada, no, he's a doctor. He's he's impressive.
Yeah.
So you would think a doctor in football, he'd be like, I'm going to save my brain.
But you don't think Belichick's going to obviously drop a good scheme?
There's going to be something there, but they need to stop the run. If they can't stop the run,
100% they have stopped the run. But I don't think Edwards-Helaire or whatever you want to call whatever his name is. Man. But is it that early in the season that it's kind of that preseason mode where people run defense hasn't looked good really across the NFL. Nobody's really played run defense
that's
that
true,
well.
But they haven't been able to practice it.
Yeah, but we're entering into 4 weeks now. Maybe it's starting to get a little bit better. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're helping some guys out, with getting that run defense going. I mean, who knows? But I think the Patriots will be opportunistic on, trying to take advantage. Because if Mahomes turns the ball over and the Patriots can run the ball, I mean, it's a different ball.
Run out of time.
Yeah, so I mean, if they can hold the ball,
I'm still going KC, but
I know you are.
Go Pats.
I know, but I'm going to go Patriots.
All right,
I'm going to go. Right. I'm going to take it. Go Patriots, and I think Gilmore has a bounce back game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put him in a better position. I think they'll feel more comfortable.
Is there any of these at the stadium? The Daniel Bryan advertising?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to go Patriots.
I don't think I'll ever pick against them.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is the one game, right?
Yes,
you should pick against them. I'm going to go Patriots.
All right. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and then you've been listening to, when you listen to like Boston. Did you ever listen to the media when you were
all the time. I loved it.
Did you?
You
didn't let it get to you?
Up. No, it got me pissed off. Most of the people wanted me replaced anyway because Ninkovich.
I know.
So
that's what I know.
love it.
You listen to like Boston sports media. If you didn't know,
so
you were
the media
Boston,
can pump you up. So like the media can do 2 things. You could be like average, and then they pump you up to be like really good. But like the football players know, like, all right, this guy's not that good. But then you could be like a good player, and then they could just be like, oh, like they want to talk about the draft pick or the high paid guy. So for me, I was always loving the motivation to like listen. I had a little list of like guys I'd cross their face out. Like
you get mad, right?
Yeah.
Like he's slow, he's injury prone,
all that stuff. I'm like, F you.
Yeah, but the Boston sports media is crazy though, because if you weren't in Boston, you would assume that you're listening to people that like hate the Boston sports.
Yeah, well, I mean
it's awful.
They're just very much so. I mean, I'm gonna go back to the spoiled thing. When you win so many Super Bowls and NBA World championships and hockey.
Well, it's like Brad Stevens needs to be fired.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
The guys went to the playoffs, East Conference Finals.
Yes.
I mean, they rebuilt while he was all
Tatum,
here.
I think he's a hell of a basketball player.
I know there's people out there saying that they need to trade Tatum.
I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, come on.
I know, but it's a lot of crazy stuff. Like, you got to trade Tatum. They want Danny Ainge gone because he can't build a team.
He's good.
They just didn't execute.
They're good.
There
was a weird year in the bubble.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
I mean, I think they'll be obviously better this year. I mean, it's the same thing. They get the Red Sox going. They fired their manager during like the first quarter of the Patriots game, which is kind of seems like a big no-no. But will Alex Cora come back?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, look, the baseball stuff. I mean, when's the last time you watched baseball? I haven't watched a baseball game this year. I like
baseball.
I like going to the game. Like,
I love going to the game.
I want to go to Fenway and I want to have a hot dog and I want to have a nice cold beer on the Monster. Like, that's what I love about Fenway and watching Red Sox. Like, but when I'm at home, like, if I want to take a small nap, I'll put on baseball.
Baseball's good. I mean, I actually think the Red Sox are that bad. I think that they've got a young team now. They're changing the organization. They've realized. I mean, I didn't agree with getting rid of Mookie Betts. I still don't agree with it. But
you
Verdugo,
can't. I mean, they didn't want to pay him the guaranteed $500 million or whatever.
But eventually, you have to pay somebody that. Like that's contracts going up and up and up.
That's
I mean,
true.
What was it 10 years ago?
Not anymore because they can't even. They gotta.
It keeps going up.
I know, but how can I want to know how they? I want to know how they can keep going up and up and up with no fans in the stands. Nobody watches the games on TV. It's crazy.
I mean, what's the Patriots' valuations? Like billions of dollars,
billions. Right? That's not a bad investment. I wish I could invest in the Patriots in like '97.
Yeah, don't you wish you do Robert Kraft then?
Exactly,
exactly. I'll give you a little bit of money. Just give me a little piece.
Return like 1,000% on your investment. Great.
Yeah, but they, but I think the Red Sox are good. In a good position. I think they're, we'll have another year that's probably down, and they'll start getting a little bit better. I think the Celtics are in a great position. Obviously, I think the Patriots are in a great position. I don't know. I know you're not going to fully take that.
I can't. I have to.
I $100 million cap space.
I have to see them develop as the season progresses. I want to see. The Raiders game didn't impress me.
But if your phone went off and like Julio Jones traded the Patriots, you would just be
damn. That's a
you would
good
just
trade.
Be
That's a good trade.
Like
they'd be my top pick to win the division. Right now, I still think Buffalo.
Would they be a Super Bowl team if they got Julio Jones?
They got to stop the run. If they can tighten up on defense in the running game, they'd be a better Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I think they.
What wins championships? Defense wins championships. That's my thought as a defensive football player. I'm a defensive mindset. You got to stop the run. If you don't, your team is measured accordingly with your run stopping ability. If you can't stop the run, you're not tough.
But it just seems like the Patriots always can't stop the run early in the season, and they develop.
They got it. Well, I want to see. That's what I said.
I
want to see them develop. I want to see them develop.
When they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, their defense
the Rams,
was awful.
They should have played the Saints, and they would have had a much better game. The Rams sucked so bad. Their head coach was in awe of Bill Belichick before the game. He was like, "Bill Belichick, man, I'm a big fan. I've watched you for a lot of years now." And Bill's just like this. Yeah.
Yeah. He's thinking in his head.
I just beat you.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm in your head. See you later. We're just gonna mug the quarterback, and he's gonna panic and not throw the ball away and take sacks and throw interceptions.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
Patriots win.
But their defense wasn't good that year, though. It was all the way up into the playoffs. Then they got their groove going. They had a good game, I think, against the Chargers that year. That's when they beat the Chiefs. I mean, they left 30 points or 34 points in the AFC Championship game, but that's actually a good job against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then they just completely mauled the Rams. I mean, it was close because if Jason McCourty didn't come out of nowhere and knock that ball down to Cooks, that would have been that game would have been over because you wouldn't have been able to score again.
Yeah, donezo.
The offense was awful.
All right, well, I think that wraps up our second episode. I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sit in the. Can I go sit in the car again?
You gonna take your shoes off?
Yeah, 100%.
You don't have like the socks glued to your feet or anything?
No, not today.
Okay.
Only when I'm done.
You're gonna do that. You're gonna do that when you take the dog bites.
I mean, if
like,
I'm
so
sprinting, you want to put my cleats on? I'll put my cleats on. We'll see if I can run away from
them.
I think I could juke them. I think I still got a little bit of the.
That's gonna be good.
Oh, we'll try it.
I've taken bites from before. It hurts.
Through the sleeve?
Yeah, because the bite force is so strong.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's not like you're not gonna.
I want to have them bite my leg. Do they have leg suits
hurts.
too?
Yeah, they'll put you in the whole thing. Like,
what about this?
No, there's nothing for the face.
All right, they won't bite my face. I
got
this looks like a nose like a dog would love to take off.
You just gotta keep your arms out or something like that, But legs kind of hurt.
I'll tell you a story about Tom Brady. It's not funny. He got bit by one of those dogs badly in his thigh. One year we had, I think it was like the SEALs were in and they were doing some training here, and Tom was like talking or doing something with the dog. I think he actually did a commercial with a dog. And he did something with his arms, and it was like the signal that the dog saw, and it bit him in the leg. Put a terrible chunk in his leg, like bad. It was bad.
What, did he show up on the injury report, or was that?
No, I mean, I think it was, I don't know, laceration or something. But the dog bit the heck out of him.
Oh, really? Were you there?
No, I saw his leg. I mean, cause, in the locker room.
Yeah. Wow.
See you guys.
Yeah. That'll be enough.
Okay.
All
right. Cut.
Yeah. All right, cool. We'll be back at it next week for episode 3.
Sweet.
I'll be ahead in the picks by then.
Don't think so.
And
Forget
we'll
about
go from there.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.